Okay, let's do some IELTS speaking practice today. So, Mr. Hill, please, let's try some part one first. So let's talk about New Year's celebration. Did we talk about this one before? I don't think we have.
I
Now,
think we have, yes.
let's do New Year celebration for part one. So do you celebrate New Year? And how do you do that? Like, what do you wear? How do you prepare the time for it? What activities do you do? Something like that, you know? Anything special about it? Something like that, you know?
Yeah, we celebrate New Year for every year. Uh, we use Lunar New Year rather than New Year. In Lunar New Year,
In the
we have,
Lunar New Year, in the Lunar New Year.
in a Lunar New Year, we have a new clothes and we have
Yes.
at least one
Yes.
dinner before a New Year with whole family.
I see. So
Yeah.
do you think New Year celebration necessary?
Lunar New Year celebration is necessary because for that event, that is a chance to
The chance to the chance to
that is a chance to bring whole family together to
hmm,
have dinner, to talk about what we had for whole year
for the
and what
new
we
year.
can plan for a new year.
Hmm.
So, and maybe we um we can have plan to visit relative.
Relatives, our relatives.
We can go somewhere in next summer holiday.
Next in next
Next,
summer holiday.
next summer holiday. Uh,
No. The question is, do you think New Year celebration are necessary? It means like without it, would there be any problems? And why do people need New Year celebrations? What do you think? I think
I
let's
think I think New Year celebration is necessary because that is a chance to uh, bring whole family together, maybe to meet some close friend or to meet relative because
yes.
in New Year celebration several days around New Year, so we do not have to work, so we can spend that holiday for visiting friends or or relative
Relatives.
relatives relatives uh visit somewhere if we want.
Okay.
Because as you know that in other time, if you have a holiday, you can visit somewhere or visit other people. However, other people can have to work, so we cannot spend more time for that. So New Year, that is the holiday for everyone, so we can spend that time to bring
Well, if I tell you the fact that when I was in medical school, Christmas was the 25th of December, and the day after that, we have exam immediately. A very difficult exam. It's final exam. And also for Lunar New Year, we only have the first and the second day off. And the third day, we'll have exam again. Even on the 31st of December, we would still have exam, So medical school is very brutal. So medical students, we are so used to the fact that we won't be celebrating New Year. We won't be celebrating Christmas. We won't be celebrating like any other events like that, So I don't think for everyone, New Year celebration are necessary. Well, just some facts. Now, do you still remember a New Year that you celebrated?
Yes. Yeah. I have a New Year celebration with my family and call my father. I called my father to talk about what we are doing in the event and talk about several stories of our family
I see.
and to update because at normal we do not have time to do so.
Okay. Okay.
And it depends on how long we can spend for our holiday in Lunar New Year or in New Year. So if you have more time, you can spend 2 or 3 days for traveling. And currently, many families spend Lunar New Year or New Year for traveling.
I see. So do you have any ceremonies to celebrate the New Year in your country or your hometown? Like, for example, ceremony, like, for example, people often worship their ancestors,
Yes, I think we have such as local areas,
Area.
or committee organize a campaign
Or people just wear special costumes. People just
wear
costumes,
special
and
costume
then
and organize a tournament for sheep.
and they worship the ancestor and the gods, and they burn
And
they burn paper money. They burn paper money, the fake ones.
They burn paper money.
Yes, exactly. And then that's it. That's about it, I think.
I didn't know that. However, they wear special costume.
Seems like the traditional. Oh, yeah.
Yes, or even and special they organize an event lottery or
Exactly,
game
lottery,
show.
lottery, very good.
Yeah, the
Lottery,
game
and
show.
also there are
The game show.
yes.
Yeah.
And there are also game shows too, These days we have game shows.
They organize a game show on TV or on somewhere and well-known place.
Okay, I see. So why do people think that New Year is a new beginning? And people always look for New Year resolution, or New Year resolution. Like, for example, this year I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to be much more better looking. This year I'm going to graduate, something like that, This is called New Year resolution. People wish people ask for a new beginning, something like that. But why do people think that New Year is a new beginning? What do you think?
Because we have 1 year, and from January until December, and at the end of year, we can look back and review what we have. So for New Year, we can plan something, plan to do something in New Year, and we try to do, and at the end we can review it and what we have, what we achieve for whole period, for whole year. So maybe that make us be happy, or maybe have more energy to try in next year, because we do
To
not
try in the next year, you mean?
Yeah, to
So
try.
it's like an illusion that people always have, that New Year's a new beginning. It's an
Yes,
illusion. Yeah, nó chỉ là cái ảo ảnh thôi. Ảo ảnh thôi, illusion. Yeah. Of course, it's always an illusion, but it's good to believe in something, you know?
yeah,
It's
that
good to
is
believe in something, you know? If
just
you
one
believe,
day and one point to start and to review it.
exactly, they say if you don't dream, you don't say, if you don't dream, then
Yes.
you want to achieve things, I think. All right, so that's 11. Let's try another part one, shall we? So let's try number 12, which is reading. Do you like to read books? And what kind of books do you like to read?
When I was young, I like to read books, and I like to read fiction book and story books.
Fiction and story. Interesting.
Yeah, because we want to know more about life. Yeah. However, when I grow older, and I like to read the science book rather than fiction book,
Yes.
and because I want to update information from the science, so book is a bad way.
The best way.
Best
Books is
way
the
to
best
update it.
way, you mean?
Yeah.
Let me see now. So what makes you so interested in that, or those kind of books?
When I read book, the information, the content from books,
The content.
the
The
content
the, the
from books,
content. The
the con
content.
the content from books make me interested, and moreover, if I read storybook,
Okay.
the situation
Giờ
objects,
giờ đó rồi anh ơi, lại
the
giờ đó
situation,
rồi. The situation. Da 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 di 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 da da da
the
da 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 da
situation,
di di.
the
The situation.
situation.
Okay, let's try again. So what makes you so interested in those kind of books? Da 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 da.
When I read books,
Yes.
the information from books and content from books make me interested and keep me to read until the end. Such as when we have more information from the science books, so we update the news or the content from the science subject or object. from the books. So we read it and update it. And for storybooks or fiction books, the content include the situation or action character of character can help and make me more interested or not, and keep me reading until the end or not.
I
Yeah,
see.
sometimes yes, story is not
Yeah, story là sao?
the
And
story.
the story
The story in the book do not make me interested, so I do
does not
not
make me interested, does not make me
yeah,
feel
into
interested.
it. So
Does not interest me là dùng động từ.
yeah,
Does not
into me.
interest me. Or you can say it doesn't make me interested. Là tùy tôi trong trạng thái là hứng thú. Because it doesn't make me interested. So how often do you read?
Now I read one book per month maximum. Don't I because we read a lot online from internet. We can update news from newspaper online, and we even read article and story online. So we do not have to read book frequently. However, sometimes we spend a few hours to read books. So just about 1 or 2 per month, I think.
Okay, so do you have many books at home? Do you even have a library at home, maybe?
Yet I have a small library at home with many books for children, because my children like to like reading books, and I have some for myself, and sometimes you can read it.
I see. Now, do you often buy books or give books as a gift to people?
Yes, we often buy nhắn books
Which is
when we have
one of
new.
the famous
That is a
book
famous
author in Vietnam,
author. That is a famous writer
or
in
author
Vietnam.
or writer.
Author or writer.
Okay, please be careful that if you mention the name of someone who is not in English or who is not so well known in the English speaking world, you should explain who they are, you know. Mình luôn luôn mình phải theo ra, ví dụ như áo dài là cái gì, like if you mention áo dài, for example, you have to say it's a traditional Vietnamese dress. Or if you say Nguyễn Nhật Ánh, who's Nguyễn Nhật Ánh? He is a very well-known Vietnamese author, book author or writer, you know. Okay, so do you like to read printed books or electronic books then?
I like read electronic book
I like
because
to read electronic
I
books.
like to read electronic books because it is more convenient and we can read everywhere. And even we can find easier. However, sometimes we read printed books just to spend more time and just to update and for relax as well.
I see.
because as you know that we can have Kindle file to store our electronic books. It's like
So, but the thing
printed.
is, electronic books, you can transfer between different platforms, like between your
Yes,
iPad, between your laptop, between your computer, even between your phones,
yeah,
and they are very easily accessible. What do you think about it? How about reading it?
yes.
Is it any different between reading a printed books or electronic books? What do you think?
Mm, I think electronic books can be easily accessed uh, by a lot of device
Yes.
such as iPad, smartphone, even smartphone and laptop, and you can search online and download online and store it in laptop or in iPad to read it later. And of course, we store it in iPad when we complete working, so we can spend time for reading when we have time.
Okay, I see. So, do Vietnamese people do enough reading?
Mm, I think not all, but read a lot of book. However, a small group of people still like reading, so they like read a lot of books, and they also write a review for for the books, so they can
Okay,
share the content and the feeling what they have when
nice.
reading books. So, and what they share can help us to have more content and to have more information to know about the book, and we can read it later. Yeah, I think that is also good
But
to
but I think reading doesn't mean just books, people can read online articles. People can
yeah.
read anything online, online articles. People can read, people can get information from videos. So I don't think the fact that Vietnamese people don't do enough reading doesn't matter much. You think so?
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Um,
But okay, so in your opinion, what's the best place to read?
hmm, if we if in my opinion, if I read a book, I want to spend that time in a small corner in a coffee shop with a soft music, and listen to music and read a book
And
and
read books,
read
and
book
books.
read books and listen to music too. So it had feel very, very uh, relaxed and
Yes. So how about cafes? What do you think? Many cafes in town.
yeah,
Are
that
they
is
good
a
places to
corner
read?
of coffee shop. Yeah, it not too noisy.
Mhm. A
It
corner of
is
a coffee shop
not
can be a good
noisy.
place for reading books, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, so do you think public parks are good places to read too?
I think so, but It should be in a good weather.
Not in the rainy weather, of course.
Then, of course, not too hot, not too cold, or too wet. It should be in a nice weather. And we can have a table outside close to a tree, and we can have a cup of tea or coffee, drink tea or coffee, and read book. That is very nice. Or even we can lie on grass, so and read book, of course.
Okay, so what kind of people like reading and what kind of people don't? What do you think? You can think about, of course, a lot of your students want to like reading, of course.
Yes, yeah. But a lot of people don't like reading. So I'm not sure. Because many people do not have ability about language, and they have difficulty when learn a language, including reading and speaking or something like that. Speaking, hearing, or read or learn a new language. So they do not like reading too.
I see.
If
But what kind of people will like reading? Yeah.
they have ability to learn language, so normally they often read a lot of books, and they can get information from books easily, and they can provide and summarize later easily. And it means they have more and more vocabulary
Yes,
to read and to hear. Yeah.
I see. So let's go to part 2 now. So that's 12, number 12. Let's go to part 2. Okay, let's try moment, please. We did 57. Did we do 57 already? Describe a thing you refuse to lend, you know? Did we do 57 already? Have we done it already? You remember?
Not that.
Okay, let's do 57.
Here they refuse to lend.
You remember to lend and to borrow, you know? Now, to lend people something, it means to give them and then you have to wait for them to bring you back. If you borrow something from the other people, you ask them and they will give it to you. But then after a while, you have to bring it back to them. Well, lend là cho mượn, borrow đi mượn. Now let's describe a thing that you refused to lend. You should say what the thing was, who wanted to borrow it from you, why he or she wanted to borrow it from you, and explain why you refused him or her. Like, for example, a thing that people often borrow is a drill, you know, like equipment to improve the home. Like, for example, the drill. The drill is something that people often borrow a lot, you know, and also a ladder. Of course, mượn thang, mượn máy khoan, yeah. People often borrow it from each other, but most of the time people borrow money, of course. People can borrow expensive items such as an expensive an expensive vacuum cleaner, Like for example, if you have a very high efficient, if you have a high efficient vacuum cleaner, expensive one, your friends would love to borrow it from you, you know, because those things you only use it. Let's say I have a high efficient vacuum cleaner. I use it for sanitizing or washing my sofa and my carpet and everything else. It's very efficient. So sometimes my friend borrow it from me and I let them borrow it, you know. Now, explain why you refused him or her as well and why he or she wanted to borrow from you. Please stick to what you should say. And now part 3 of borrowing or lending things. Now, what situations should people lend things to others and why? Let's say when it comes to expensive objects that people can share to use, you know, and when people are in not when their friends are in need, you know, they need help. So you should give examples, many examples to answer this question with. Like for example, when your friends forgot their wallets, for example, để quên ví, để quên bóp ở nhà. Well, that happens, you know. Or when your friend just moved out and moved into a new place, they will need your help and they will need you to lend them some object like a drill or maybe a ladder or maybe anything that you can think of, you know. Think about people often lend books to the others, you know. Cho mượn sách xong mất luôn. People often lend books to the others, but most of the time the books just will the books won't be returned on time, you know.
Yeah.
That's the situation. But more seriously, people often lend money to the others. And then it won't be returned, you know, or you have to really ask them for many times and they will return it. That's what happened in Vietnam a lot. Now, what situation should people borrow things from others and lend things to others? You see, these are two different questions. Let's say when you have to choose, when you have some emergency, like for example, if you have to pick up, if you have an emergency, if someone have to go to the hospital quickly or an emergency, you might have to borrow your friend's motorbike, for example. Then that situation, you should ask your friend to lend you their motorbike. Of course, you have to keep the motorbike and not lose it, you know. In an emergency, yes, people can borrow. Think about the fact that, so this question, borrow thing from others, you can say borrow thing from the bank. When people open a business, for example, open a business, of course, they will have to take loans, loans, O-N, take loans from banks. And when they decided to buy a house, they have to take a mortgage. Take a mortgage. I don't know if I read it right. Is it mortgage? To take mortgage.
Mortgage.
With a T, with a T there. To take mortgage. Yeah. To take mortgage. Yes.
Mortgage.
It means you borrow money from a bank just to buy a house or an apartment, and of course you have to pay monthly in installment. Trả hàng tháng là từng một cái khối, là từng một cái cục như vậy á. Mỗi tháng một cục nha. Like every month you have to pay by installments. Yes, that's mortgage for you. Okay. And then think about I think most of the time just investment, I think. Now, why is lending money to others a risky thing to do? You know how to answer this one, I'm sure. Now, should people borrow money to buy expensive things? Why not? Borrow money here can means borrow your friends, your relatives, or borrow from the bank, you know? So you should think about different situations. And buy expensive things here can mean like buying land, mua đất, buying apartment, buying a house, or just to buy a fridge, washing machine, or anything expensive, you know. And why not? Because you should think about the fact that if they do not borrow money at that time to buy a house or land, the price will keep increasing until the point that they cannot afford anymore. The price will keep increasing to the point that they cannot afford the house or apartment anymore. This is what happened in Vietnam now. The young people, it's very difficult for the young people to be able to afford an apartment these days. I think last year was about 50 something years. It took 50 something years for a normal office worker to be able to afford an apartment. But now I think it's 60 now. So it's almost like if you start working from the year that you are 18 years old until your retirement age, you will not be able to afford your apartment. It has reached that point already, I think. 18 tuổi đi làm, lúc về hưu vẫn chưa đủ mua đủ nhà nữa. Yeah. That's what happened in Vietnam right now, I think. Anyway, so that's the situation we have to think about. Now let's do 57. Okay, Mr. Hưng, please describe a thing that you refused to lend.
I would like to describe the camera that I refuse to lend to my friend. I refuse to lend because at normal as a photographer I have a lot of lens and camera. However, that is also for my work, and I refuse to lend because he borrowed me at a part of pledge for his trip and for a long time, at least for a few days, and I am not sure about what he want to do and what he want to take care the device. So
Okay.
and because the land is not easy to do in correct way, and another one is it's easy to break and make a lot of dirt inside when we bring to travel, and so, and another one is he is not a professional photography first, so I do not think he needs a professional camera to do so, to take a photo for his trip. So that is the reason why I refuse him to lend my camera and lens, and because he also have a chance to use smartphone to take a lot of photo of his trip. So he can do that.
I see. That's why you refuse to lend him, right?
Yeah.
Cho nên có câu kết nữa nha. You need to end the sentence. That's why I refuse to lend him. Okay, let's go to part 3 now. So what situation should people lend things to others and why?
I think in several situations, people should lend something to others, such as in emergency case, to bring someone to hospital in emergencies, to help someone to do something and complete it quickly, such as when we go to school, we forgot a pen or pencil or learning material, so we can lend someone. So lend him to lend pen or even blank paper or ruler or eraser. Every people do that, and I think we can do that and should do that. So
Okay, so what situation should people borrow things from others and why? Then? What do you think?
in several cases, people should borrow things from other, from relative, from friends, other people, such as in emergency case, people should borrow ask other to help, such as borrow car or borrow bicycle to bring them to hospital. Another case, we can borrow something and we can return easily and quickly, so we can borrow it, such as working material but small thing, and we can use for short time and we can return quickly, such as working tool in a garden.
Working tools in a garden.
Working tool in garden.
Tools.
Working tools.
Working tools.
So in
Working
garden
tools in the garden.
In the gardens. So we can borrow and we can return it when we finish it that days. It means very short time. However, if we have to spend it for a few days or for a long time, we should buy a new one.
Yes. I see. So why is lending money to others a risky thing to do?
I think lending money to others is risky because we do not know about the ability to return back when is the borrower can have money to return can and what the purpose they want to spend, and even they spend. Yeah. So the risky is because we do not know the ability.
We do not know exactly if they will be able to repay back the debts.
Yeah, to pay back, to return
back their debts. Nó đọc là
Yes.
debts, nó đọc là
That,
debts. To pay back their debts.
that,
I think
that,
there's a reason why the word debts is pronounced like dying, you know, death.
that.
Because if you do not repay your debts, you are dead. Tại sao cái chết đọc giống như là nợ nần vậy? Well, that's the reason why I think. Bởi vì không trả nợ được thì chết. But if you don't pay the debt, your debts, you're dead. I think so. Now, so think about the fact that if you lend money to others, you can actually cause their situation to be worse, you know, because what if they borrow money to spend in the casino, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And they lost the
And
money,
they lose
and
it, they lose it,
we
you will
lost
never get your money back.
that, and we lost the friends.
We
And
lose the friend, we lose the money, we lose
that,
everything.
that we lose money, we lose friends.
Okay, good. Now, so should people borrow money to buy expensive things? Why not? Let's be positive. People borrow money from the bank all the time, you know, to buy expensive things all the time too.
Yeah, exactly. People should borrow money from the bank to buy expensive things, including house, including car,
Houses, cars.
and house, and I think even a lot of things such as computers, laptops, because if we borrow from the bank, we can pay back monthly, but it is not easy to borrow money from other people to buy expensive things.
Okay.
Because for the first time, we can follow the plan to pay back the debt. But after few months or a short time, we do not follow the plan to pay back, and we denied we delay or denied the plan to pay back. So it is not good at all.
It's not good. It's not a good situation at all. Let's try this question again. So should people borrow money to buy expensive things? Why not? Let's try this question again, please.
I think people should borrow money from the bank to buy expensive things such as house or car or something expensive like smartphone or laptop, and because if we do not have enough money and we do not borrow money from the bank, so we cannot buy it. And if we save money until we have enough money to buy it, that take a long time. And so in that time, we may spend money for other things. So it is not easy to save a big amount of money. So we should borrow money from bank to buy expensive things like house or like car. I think.
Okay. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, 57, it's done. Now let's try 37. Describe a time you made a promise to someone. Promise. You made a promise to someone. you should say what the promise was, to whom you made it. You made a promise to whom, whether it was easy or difficult to keep. Có khó để giữ cái lời hứa đó không? Explain why you made it. Tại sao mà lại hứa? Mình hứa với ai? To whom you made it? What the promise was. Lời hứa gì vậy? And then part 3 of promise. So what kinds of promises do people often make? Con người ta thường hứa những kiểu như thế nào? So think about the fact that people often promise other people in the workplace to, you know, to finish the deadline in time, you know, to finish deadlines in time. They often promise to themselves. Tự hứa bản thân, they promise to take better care of their health, you know. They often promise to what else? And then they often promise to others, like for example, they promise to their parents. Children often promise to their parent that they would do their homework, something like that, you know. They promise to their lovers that they will love them forever, something like that, you know. I think people make the most promises when they are in a love relationship, I think. Khi yêu thì hứa rất nhiều. Well, I think when they are in love, they promise a lot. They promise to be with each other forever, you know, something like that. In their wedding, they promise that they will live together with each other until the day they die, something like that. Now, okay, do parents in Vietnam make promises to their children? Những cha mẹ ở Việt Nam có hứa với trẻ nhỏ họ không? Of course, they do that a lot. Like if you, they often promise the children if they do their homework, if they sleep, if they
And
sleep on time, if they get a good grade, then they will bring their children to somewhere. But then, of course, a lot of Vietnamese parents do not keep their promises. So that's why their children, they're angry, and then they have some distrust. They distrust their parents because of this, you know. So it actually, it's bad for parenting. It's bad for parenting because if you do not keep your promises, your children will not trust you. They will have a mistrust, very bad mistrust, you know. So think about what kind of promises they often make. I see this one a lot in Vietnam, a lot. Now, do children keep their promises? Trẻ nhỏ có giữ lời hứa của chúng không? Well, it depends, but I think a lot of the time they just think that promises is just a promise, you know, it's nothing serious. A lot of children, they may think that promises are nothing serious. They just promise because they like it, you know. Hứa vì thích nó thôi, thích thì hứa thôi. Họ không nghĩ gì là nó nghiêm túc hay gì cả. Well, but of course, some children, they are more mature. They promise and they keep their promises. So you have to think about what children often promise. They often promise their parents that they will clean their room, they will study hard, they will sleep on time, they will take care of the laundry, they will wash the dishes, you know, something like that. Con hứa sẽ rửa chén, con hứa sẽ thức dậy sớm, con hứa sẽ... Well, they often promise a lot. Oh. You often, of course, you see this one a lot because you have children. Now, why do some people fail to keep their promises? Tại sao một số người họ là thất bại trong chuyện giữ lời hứa? Just think about why people fail to keep their promises, you know. Well, think about the fact that there are things that can be out of their control. things that can be out of their control. Like, for example, if you promise to be on time, but then there's an accident happen, or there was an emergency, or there's a traffic jam, then you cannot be in the workplace on time or something like that. Or think about the fact that some people do not take some people, they do not take promises seriously. Some people, they do not take promises seriously. And what's the problem with that? Of course, there's a problem with that. They just promise for fun, you know. And most of the time, salespeople, you know, salesmen and saleswomen, salespeople, they promise a lot to their customers and they never keep their promises anyway. Trời ơi, dân sale là hứa lèo nhiều nhất luôn á.
Yeah.
So they promise a lot to to people, and of course, that's why people do not trust them. Okay, and think about the reason why they have to do that. They have to do that in order to sell their products, in order to gain the trust of people more, you know. Well, some people, they just promise for fun in order to gain some benefits, in order to gain some immediate benefits. Để có được một số lợi ích tức thời thôi, họ mới hứa như thế. Like, for example, you can promise to your customers that you will do something for them, and then the customer will trust them, and then they will buy the products. That is some immediate benefits. But then in the long run, how about in the long run? In the long run, you will see that things doesn't go very well. People will lose trust in those who cannot keep their promises, and they cannot do anything, because trust is very important in anything in life, in any dealings in life. In dealings in life, in many dealings in life, in any endeavors. Trong bất kỳ cái sự theo đuổi nào trong cuộc sống thì đều cần phải có sự lòng tin. Now, so why do some people promise a lot? Tại sao một số người lại hứa rất nhiều? It's like some people, they promise a lot. Is it because of their job? Because they are a victim of consequence? Because are they a victim of consequence? Nó gọi là nạn nhân của số phận. Nạn nhân của số phận. The victim of sorry, not consequence. Victim of circumstance. Sorry, a victim of circumstance. Nạn nhân của số phận hay là hoàn cảnh. Nạn nhân của hoàn cảnh, a victim of circumstance, not consequence. Okay, a victim of circumstance, like, for example, a beggar, they will promise the people a lot in order to get some money or some food for them, you know. A salesman have to promise the customers a lot in order to be able to sell their products more, you know. So in a way, they are victim of circumstance. Trong một cách nào đó, họ vẫn là nạn nhân của hoàn cảnh. But of course, they make their own choice. All right. So you should think about those situations I just talked about. Okay. Now, please describe a time you made a promise to someone, please.
I would like to describe the time I promised to my children 1 year ago.
A year ago.
1 year ago, where I promised them to buy a new Lego toy for my children when they have a good achievement in school. So because for every year we have several gifts for my children, so I promised them to buy a big Lego box for them, so and to engage them to have more good result in school. And actually they do not have to try. It's not easy to get a good result in school because they have to try for every subject, but it is not too difficult because I think that they can have that, and at the end they have the good result. And I bought a big box of Lego for them. It is Lego to build a city, so with a lot of character and small thing, including characters, people, and tree, and they can make a small town with
Yes.
homes and cats. And when they were very happy when they opened the gift and they played and to build it.
Okay, I see. So of course, so what kind of promises do people often make?
I think the parents often make promise with their children to encourage them to have more energy, more target to try in school and to have good result and good marks in school in the exam.
In the exam.
In the exam. So, and at the end they have give or they have ticket to visit or to travel, or maybe sometimes they have a chance to do something, such as you have a chance to visit the grandparent in summer holiday, or maybe visit somewhere.
Somewhere nice, no?
Yes, exactly. Beautiful place. Visit a place they want to go and they want to visit, such as go to beach.
Go to the beaches, you mean?
Go to the beaches.
I see. So, do you think about promises that they'll make about improving themselves? What do you think about that? Do people often keep their own promises to themselves?
I think children keep their promise because we can a parent often remind them to do so, because both parent and children want to do it, and children want to have gift or want to, so they want to do and they try to do, and their parent also want to have the good result, so they also want to do so.
I see. So, do parents in Vietnam make promises to their children?
I think Vietnamese parents make a lot of promise to their children because Vietnamese parents always want their children have a good result in school and want to have good result in school and want to have good children. So it means that they have good result in school. It means they are good and result from the result from the subject or the exam always
Exam.
the exam always the outcome to evaluate the children or something.
So how about children? Do children keep their promises too?
I think at always children often forgot. Children often forget what they promised. However, they want to have gift, so they want to try to have gifts from their parents. So I think if they have promised, they will try to do it to have gift because if they promise something and they will get something else. So they will try to keep their promise to do and to have the benefit from it.
I see. So why do people fail to keep their promises?
I think some people fail to keep their promise because they are easy to promise
To promise.
something with someone. So if they do it easily,
Dây nữa rồi, anh lại dây rồi.
if they
They
do it
do it.
easily,
If they do it. If they do it.
if they do it easily, it means if they make promise easily, so they get failed easy too. If they make promise a lot, they can fail to keep their promise as well.
Keep their promise as well. So can you give examples of people who fail to keep their promises? In what situation they often do so?
Subject. If we are busy, but we try to, if I were busy for whole day, but I try to make my wife be happy, and I said that I promise I will catch you this afternoon and bring you home. So, however, I was busy with my task and I forgot everything. And when I complete my task in my company, and wow, I forgot it.
I see.
Yeah, something like that.
So do you feel guilty after those incidents that you failed to keep your promises?
Then it depends on how often we make promise with someone. If we do not often make promise with someone, so when we promise with someone, so we will think that is more important to do it, and we try to do it. So if we make a lot of promise, so it is easy to break and easy fail.
Okay. I see. So why do some people promise a lot? Is it like a kind of trick, you know, a kind of trick? Or maybe it's just because their personality is like that. They are not so trustworthy. What do you think? Why do some people promise a lot?
I think some people just want to make others be happy instantly. When they talk with others, they want the conversation immediately and the audience is happy with their story and 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 make happy, so they promise a lot.
Of
However,
course, they often promise a lot.
and after that they forgot everything and they forgot what they promised, what they said. So
I see. Now let's try
yeah.
something else. This is 37. Now, okay, I think you're in a good position to answer the next topic, which is 38. Describe a time when you needed to use your imagination. Miêu tả một thời điểm mà bạn cần phải sử dụng trí tưởng tượng của bạn. You should say what the situation was. It's like when you have to lie to the police officer to get out of a fine, you know. Nói xạo công an để khỏi bị phạt. You know, people often do that, you know. They use your imagination a lot when they have to lie to other people. Okay, you should say what the situation was, why you needed to use your imagination, what the difficulties were about it, có khó khăn gì không khi mà phải dùng trí tưởng tượng. Explain how you felt about it. Okay, and so we have a part 3 for it. Do you think adults can have lots of imagination? Bạn những người lớn có thể có trí tưởng tượng rất nhiều không? Well, not all the time children have lots of imagination, but adults can do. Especially if they work in creative fields, you know, làm trong lĩnh vực mà phải sáng tạo. Of course, they have to be very creative, very imaginative. Imaginative.
Imagination.
They have to be very imaginative. Imaginative. They have to be very imaginative. Imaginative. Right. And think about different fields where people have lots of imagination, like writing. Writing when they have to write novels, when they have to write novels, where like if they have to do research, do they have to imagine? Not really. It's most of the time just like following protocols. Most of the time just following protocols and do data, you know, interpret data. Để mà xử lý thông tin các thứ, diễn giải thông tin. But most of the time I think, okay, so do you think imagination is essential for scientists? Anh chị có nghĩ rằng trí tưởng tượng là tối cần thiết cho những nhà khoa học không? Well, if you are a leading scientist, then you probably will need to imagine what would happen to your research if you think about different ways where your research is heading to. Where your research is heading to. You need to imagine the different methods that will work, you know. But if you are just a PhD student, if you are just PhD students, I don't think it's essential to have imagination. because most of the time you would have to interpret data, you would have to draw graphs, you would have to work like a slave for professors. You know how it is. Well, think about the fact that I think most of the imagination work will have to be the job of leading scientists. I mean, you can prove me wrong because you're also some kind of a scientist, Mr. Hung. You are. So you should be able to answer this question. Now, so what kind of jobs need imagination? Những loại công việc nào cần trí tưởng tượng? You know how to do this one. Now, what subjects are helpful for children's imagination? Những môn học nào hữu ích cho trí tưởng tượng của trẻ nhỏ? Like for example, Vietnamese literature. Well, from a work of art, from a works of art, from a work of art, một tác phẩm nghệ thuật, a work of art, or you can use the plural form, works of art, những tác phẩm nghệ thuật. From works of art, literature teacher can ask students to imagine, to interpret their works of art in many different ways, you know. Rồi cái môn văn học Việt Nam là cái môn bắt học sinh tưởng tượng kinh khủng luôn. And then you have to be able to come up with many ways to interpret works of art that even the original author wouldn't be able to think of, you know. Chính ông tác giả như cũng không nghĩ đến là tác phẩm mình có cái ý nghĩa đó nữa. Well, there are a lot of stories like that around, you know. I heard there's a story of Kim Lân, right? He was the author of a poetry, I think. So sorry, an author of a poem, and then his son was asked by his teacher to interpret his father's work. But at the end, the teacher said, no, this is not good. This is not according to, this is not acceptable. But then the work, I mean, the interpretation was actually by Kim Lân himself. And then he came to school to face the teacher. And it was a very awkward situation. Một tình huống rất awkward luôn á. Là chính cái ông Kim Lân đó, ông phân tích tác phẩm của chính mình. Ông bị điểm thấp. It's a very awkward situation because the original author who interprets his own work and he got a bad grade. It is a very awkward situation, I think. But then you know why? Because the Ministry of Education in Vietnam asks teachers to teach in that way. That's why this is an awkward situation, very awkward. Một tình huống rất là biết kiếm cái lỗ và chui nữa. Nó gọi là rất là kỳ cục, rất là mắc cỡ. A very awkward situation. Well, think about that, but you can also think about art, môn vẽ, môn nghệ thuật. You can think about art as a subject, you know, môn vẽ, môn nghệ thuật. You can think about what else? Okay, I think you know how to answer this one. How can people build or improve their imagination? Con người ta có thể xây dựng hay là cải thiện cái trí tò mò, trí tưởng tượng của họ thế nào? Well, I think to imagine things, you have to be able to be open-minded, I think. Because if you don't open your mind to accept new concepts and ideas, it is very difficult to make you imagine new things, I think. Khó khăn nằm tưởng tượng ra được những thứ mới nếu mà mình không mở cái đầu ra. để mà chấp nhận những ý tưởng mới hoặc là những cái khái niệm mới. I think so. Try to answer this one based on that. You can probably improve your imagination by avoiding repetitive work. Repetitive work. Né tránh những việc mang tính lặp đi lặp lại. Well, actually, repetitive work causes people to get bored, you know, to get bored, and they are monotonous. They are monotonous. They're monotonous. Đơn điệu. Nhàm chán. They're monotonous, which means they're very boring. And it makes people lose their imagination for a long time if you just keep doing the same thing. You know, like for example, if every day they have to do the same thing, it kills your imagination. That's why I quit lab, you know, I quit research a long time ago, because I feel like it's so monotonous. It kills my imagination. Well, I'm looking for other things, something new to do now, I think. So I am doing astrology now. Actually, it helps my imagination a lot because I have to think of different ways to interpret the birth chart of people, you know. Tôi nghĩ là nhiều cách để mà mình diễn giải cái bản đồ sao của mọi người. So I think my new work is very good for my imagination. But teaching, well, I've been teaching for like how many years? 18 years, actually. Mình dạy được 18 năm nay rồi. Từ 17 tuổi đã có học trò rồi. From the year I was 17 years old, I already have students, you know. Anyway, so think about that, what I just said. And you should have some time to prepare now. Okay, please describe a time when you needed to use your imagination.
I want to describe the time I do my PhD program at a research program. So I use my imagination a lot to plan for my research and to plan from the income and the outcome and the algorithm as well, because when we do the research in the doctoral program, so we have to think something new, and we try to do innovative activity. So we do not know exactly the input and the output because no one do it before. So that is the reason why I have to use my imagination a lot. And that is quite hard for a lot of people if we do not have a good background to do so. And of course, when we have a good background, we plan it and we imagine the input and predict the output, and after that try to find solution and to get the target. Maybe I had to try experiment a lot, and I did a lot of experiments to get the predicted outcome, and I got it.
I see.
And I felt very happy when I got the result at the end, and I predicted. So and in my plan, I I did 3 suggestions for that, and it means for the first plan, I imagine that, however, I fail in the first plan. I have to do it again and then again.
Okay, so that's why okay. How you felt about it? Please talk very carefully about the last thing. Đừng quên cái cuối cùng, cái how you felt about it nha.
Yeah.
All right, would you like to try it again? Let's describe a time when you needed to use your imagination. Let's try it again.
I would like to describe the time I did my PhD program. So I use a lot of imagination to build my plan for my doctor degree. And we can know that for doctor degree, we have to build to do something new and to create a new technology or new material or build something innovative activity. Innovative activity.
Innovative activities.
So that is the reason why I had to do my
Imagination. Imagination.
That is the reason why I have to do imagination a lot. And I propose 3 proposal plan, 3 plan for that. For the first plan, I failed. For the second plan, I also failed. And at the end, I got, because I create a plan for input and for output, and I find the plan for to solve the problem, and I got it at the end, and I predicted. So, and at the end, I feel very happy because I got the final experiment as I predicted before. So, of course, when we use the imagination and we got the result as we predicted, we feel very happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think adults can have lots of imagination?
I think both adult and even children can have a lot of imagination, because children do not know a lot about environment, so they can imagine, such as they do not know about stars, about what we have on the earth.
On Earth. On Earth.
On
Earth. What we want on
So
Earth.
they can imagine that, and we know. However, for adults, we know a lot. So based on that knowledge, we can imagine something else. So for children, they do not know a lot, but they can imagine something. Maybe we know it already, but for others, we know a lot, so we can use that information and we can imagine something else. Maybe that is in novel knowledge.
It's called Nobel.
That may
Cái
be
Nobel là Nobel Prize, you know.
Yeah.
The Nobel Prize. Okay, the Nobel Prize. Okay, so do you think imagination is essential for scientists?
That I think imagination is essential for the scientist because the scientists try to find something new, try to do innovative activity. So
Innovative activities.
innovative activity that society have to do innovative activity, so they do something which no one did before, so no one know it, so they have to imagine that, and they try to find solution, and they try to do experiment to find and to verify or to correct what they imagine and what they predicted. So in my opinion, imagination that is essential for society.
So what kinds of jobs need imagination then?
I think there are several kinds of jobs which need imagination, such as artists. They pay.
Yes.
They pay and they do not. Sometimes they have a pattern to follow. However, a lot of time they do not have pattern to follow, and they have to imagine the picture or the lyric or the thing, and they want to draw and they want to paint. And writer also have a good imagination to do so. Yeah.
All right. So what subjects are helpful for children's imagination then?
I think several subjects related to arts, painting, music. Another thing is math, also a good subject for children because they have to think about your result.
No, I think they have to think about different ways they can solve a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even they have, as you know that we do several material to learn how to calculate 1 plus 1 or 5 plus 1, something like in primary school. However,
In
after
primary
that,
school.
in primary schools. However, when we grow up, grow older, we do not need that. We just imagine the result in the brain and we draw it out. And math.
I see. So how can people build or improve their imagination then on a daily basis,
Oh, I think people have to practice to improve their imagination. such as and they paint or they draw. That is the way they try to write down what they imagine.
Yes.
And another thing is they have to do experiment. So to verify or to confirm what is the outcome, that is correct or not. So, and the imagination is correct or not. And if the imagination is correct, they can do it and keep go on. If that is incorrect, they have to change in another way. So that is the way I think they do to improve their imagination.
I see.
And of course, they also have to think about how to improve their memory. Because when we imagine something, we need a lot of evidence and bring them together. So maybe we need a plan and write down, and more plan and write down, and make a chain, a recipe to do so.
I see. Okay, let's try a part 2 now. I think we have only time for that. Okay, so 30, this is 38. Moment, let me just write it down. This is 38. I think I remember where part 2 is. You saw it, I think. Around 40 something, I think. Okay, so we did a few 100 something. Let's try 111. Describe a vehicle. Vehicle you would like to buy. You know, a vehicle. A vehicle, một phương tiện mà bạn muốn mua. Phương tiện chuyên chở. A vehicle is something that store and bring something else to another place, you know. Phương tiện chuyên chở một cái gì đó đến một nơi khác. Describe a vehicle you would like to buy. It can be a car, it can be a motorbike, it can be a bicycle, it can be an airplane, who knows? It can be a ship, or it can be a canoe. A canoe. Moment, let me just check this the pronunciation of this one.
Yeah.
I hate this. I'm just gonna use ad blocks. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know that. Do that. We have to.
Canoe.
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 Canoe. Canoe. Oh, canoe.
It's pronounced like canoe. It's canoe. Canoe. Canoe.
Oh, canoe.
Canoe, not canoe. It's canoe. It's a canoe.
Canoe.
Canoe. It can be a canoe because if you think about the raining season in Vietnam, I think it's good to buy a canoe.
Yeah, canoe.
Or if there is a way to upgrade your motorbike so it can float on water. It can float on water, yes. Now, let's try 111. 111. Describe a vehicle you would like to buy and why you would buy it, you know? Let's try 111. And then we're done. Okay, Mr. Hưng, please describe a vehicle you would like to buy. Từ này hay bị sai nè, hay đọc là vehicle. Yeah. It's vehicle.
I would like to describe a canoe that a canoe that I would like to buy.
So instead of like a wonderful expensive yacht, like
yeah.
crazy billionaire would buy, you buy a canoe. Why not? I would
Yeah.
buy a canoe too.
I cannot swim, so however I want to visit a bank of river from the riverside. So I want to do canoe. That is a vehicle. That is a vehicle to travel on the river and to look the riverside. And I would like to travel that, and I can do it for myself because I cannot swim and I want to with a vehicle on the river and canoe. That is a good way to do so. And in my imagination. So
Okay, I see.
and of course we have to wear life coats to
Sorry?
support áo phao á.
We have to buy lifeboat. You mean
Lifeboat,
it's
yeah,
called life boil, I think.
lifeboat, yeah, to
I'm not so
support.
sure what it's called, but it's called life jacket, I think. Life
Yeah,
jacket.
life jacket.
Yes, it's called life jacket. It's not life boat or whatever it's called, I think. Life jacket. Yeah, of course, it's life jacket. This one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, to support. Yeah. If I have another one, I want to.
I would like to.
I would like to operate my car to have a bigger car to have to can carry more people.
People là sao anh?
More
People.
people, more people, and to bring whole big family with several relatives,
Relatives.
relatives, relatives,
Relatives.
relatives,
Relatives.
relatives. So if I have a car, small car, we have only 5 people. However, we have bigger car, so we can have more position. So we can go with the whole family, a big families.
I see. All right, good. I think it's good enough for today now.
Yeah, okay, yes. Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
we can end it here. Thank you. Moment. So we'll see each other on Friday,
Yeah,
and
okay.
we need to make up for our lessons too. So let's do it on this Sunday and another Sunday. Is it okay?
Yeah,
Same time.
okay.
Okay, I'll see you. Về chủ nhật tuần này
See
tuần
you.
sau nha. Okay. All right. Về tuần này tuần sau 3 buổi mỗi tuần. Okay. Okay, I'll see you then.
I'll see you.